All right, this is going to be an interesting one today. I'll tell you that. You should have seen. Wait until you see who I got hosting today. Oh, it's the same crew, kind of. It's going to be fun. It's going to be. I got the Inner Geekdom champ here, and I got Maya Rudolph coming in hot from a 1980s punk club. But we'll talk about all that. We got a lot going on today, man. There's a lot going on, Star Wars. As we approach Obi-Wan, there's Obi-Wan news. Tons of it, as we knew there would be. John Williams is coming back. How you like that? Oh, yeah. Palpatine. Steph and I talked about Palpatine last week. It looks like it's getting closer and closer that Palpatine's going to be in Obi-Wan. We'll talk about that. There's some spoilers for Obi-Wan, potential spoilers of plot stuff that I'm really not going to get into. You can go to Star Wars Newsnet, but we'll rumor. We'll rumor. We won't spoil it, though. And there's a few other things going on in the world. John Watts, apparently rumored for the TV show that we talked about last week. Tons of stuff. But there's only one thing I need you guys to do. You got to show a little class, will you? Show a little. Just announce. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification. I saw a great comment the other day. Don't tell people to subscribe to your channel. If you do it well enough, they'll just want to do it. Eat it. Subscribe. Show a little. Hit the notification button. Just announce a class is all we're asking for over here. All right. It's myself, Steph Sabra, Mike Kalinowski. It's Sith Council. Let's do it.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus. Makes you stronger.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Sith Council. It is myself. It is Steph Sabra. It is Mike Kalinowski. All right. Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. All right, so for the audio listeners, Steph Sabra looks like she went through it last night. What happened?
Looks like a rough night at the Pie Cap house after Thursday night fights.
So here's the thing. First of all, screw both of you.
Here's a walk of shame.
No, I wish. Okay, have your fun. Leave it out. I can't even look at myself. I look so hideous. There's multiple things happened at once.
Tell me.
I did happen to go to an event last night. I had 2 drinks, so that's unrelated.
Yes.
But I did sleep in my eye makeup. That's where that's coming from.
Okay.
I
stung by a bee.
I ate shit down the stairs.
Oh,
like
no.
Full
You fall on your face?
No. Okay, so I was going. That's the part that I don't know.
As much. So an old lady around the block fell today. I'll tell that story next. But you fall all the time.
All the time, and I don't. And
No,
usually, here's the thing: I shouldn't fall because I'm athletic. But then, what my athletic part helps me in not getting like super bad falls.
Yeah.
So I should have fallen face forward, but I grabbed onto the rail, and so if you can see on my. You can't see my arm. My arm's like
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. So I
mean,
caught myself, and I think what happened was I caught myself and I shouldered my face, and that's why it's swollen.
Yeah.
Or something else happened that I'm not
like
sure
the one
about.
side of your face.
Right, it's just this one,
right there. Yeah, you just got popped there. It just looks like it looks like
So
like,
I
it's like
think
30.
I went like that.
Yeah, it's like 30 bees got you at the same time.
You look like Bear Grylls getting an allergic reaction to the wasp.
It's like,
but let's talk Star Wars.
Macaulay Culkin and my girl.
Look when I smile.
I know. It's like the Joker. It's like Jack Napier.
Oh no!
All right. Well, listen. We're glad you're okay.
Thank you. There's no good angle right now.
You don't have a bad angle, Steph.
No, you see that's look. Yeah. The hair is working. Everything's working. And look,
Nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing happened. Yeah, well, my youngest wanted to take a walk with the dog, and she wanted to go a particular route today. I'm like, I got to do a show, honey. We can't go that long route. And thank God we did, because as we were walking by, an old lady fell in her driveway, and she busted her face all the way up, just like, but way worse.
Or did you just walk by?
Oh, I laughed at her and walked away. No,
course, that's what I
of course,
thought.
no, of course.
You're like, I've fallen and I can't get up. Help, Sonny.
Yeah, I pointed. I said that sucks, and I said, hopefully,
I got a show I got to do.
Of course, I helped
You
her.
said, "Hey, lady, show some class. Get up."
Little
Show a
class.
little. You should know how to walk. You're old enough. You should figure out how to do
You're
this.
embarrassing me in front of my daughter here.
I said, "Come on, show." I said, "This is not how you walk in the driveway, honey." No. Of course, I helped her up, and I helped her up, and there was luckily another guy who was on a walk, and we helped her up, and she I helped her into her house, but she was she I felt terrible for her. But my daughter was great. She stood back. She just kind of hung. The dog, complete asshole the whole time.
Of course,
this is spaz. I'm like, right into this poor old lady's trying to get up, and he's just shut up.
Not helpful.
No, and the meanwhile the 4-year-old is just chilling, going, all right, you do what you got to do, and once you help the old lady up, we'll get out of here. But it was good. That was my day. But anyway, that's thanks for tuning in. We'll check you out next week. No. All right. We have a lot to talk about, guys. There is a lot to talk about in Star Wars. And Steph, we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
With we'll start with this one. It is the Obi-Wan news with Ian McDiarmid, and there's a lot of stuff with him that's coming out. By the way, I can't talk Star Wars with Bibbs ever again.
Oh, I don't want to bring it up, but you started something. He was in it. I was like, up, here we go.
He
Twitter?
knows because he does this thing, and I love him to death, but he does this thing where he knows he's going to play out. I legitimately wanted to know. He loves to taunt me with Star Wars because we know I never agree with him on anything, like not just Star Wars. I think he's a brilliant critic. I think he's a brilliant writer. I think that his voice needs to be heard inside of writing because he presents such a different point of view that I think he's a brilliant writer. I disagree with everything the man writes, everything that he says. And every single time I bring something to Star Wars, he brings something up and he's just like, well, doesn't this mean that? I'm like, dude, I don't like talking Star Wars with you because all you do, I do like different conversation, but there's some reason. But anyway, he was talking about Palpatine and how he can show back up. And Steph, you and I talked about this last week. Boba Fett is gone. Star Wars fans are eagerly anticipating Lucasfilm's next live-action Star Wars series for Disney Plus, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi is set 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith. Obi-Wan's going to do that. We know this. Jedi Master's exile. Yeah. So what did they say about? They said that Mal and Johnny is going to be in this. We don't know who yet, but Ian McDiarmid hints at Palpatine cameo for Obi-Wan. All right, so this is what he said. I think I have to accept that. Thanks to my ungrateful granddaughter, my annihilation was finally final. Of course, Darth Vader is back in the new television series, so I suppose it's not impossible that one day his mentor might be discovered once again, skulking in the shadows. I mean but that makes all the sense in the world. That's what we talked about last week. He's kind of got to be there because he was. This is 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. He is inside of Vader's head. He is talking to him consistently, and Vader is. And remember, at this point, Obi-Wan is going to think that they're still good in him because that's what Vader says. He said Obi-Wan once thought like you did, and it's got to be Emperor Palpatine going, "No, you are no longer Anakin Skywalker." You know, you got to have that. So, Steph, we were pretty much on board with it. Now it seems like Ian McDiarmid pretty much kind of confirming that we're going to see him in at least a hologram. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so. It makes sense for the story that I think that from what the pieces we're getting of what we'll see in the series, it makes sense that we would see Palpatine, especially because if Palpatine, I don't know the extent of what he knew, but if he knew like Luke could be there and Obi-Wan would eventually be, then he would want to be involved with Obi-Wan in some capacity.
Yeah. Mike, what do you think? You think this is a good move to have him in Obi-Wan series?
Yeah, of course. I think I'm curious because I'm curious how much Anakin's going to be in it. You know,
Gonna be in it a lot. You mean Anakin or Vader in general?
Anakin, the character of Vader in general.
I think more than you think. I remember this is 6 episodes.
Right. We don't know we don't know who the bad guy is. Like the main.
I think Vader's the main bad guy.
Is he though? Is that going to be the?
Oh, good. The leaf blower is going to show up today, guys. You guys haven't had an opportunity to meet the leaf blower.
I haven't.
He's gonna show up in just a little bit. Did you see? There he goes. He's very interested in being part of the conversation.
Is he new to the neighborhood? Because he's not always been there.
He's been there on Wednesdays. Because anytime I
don't hear it.
I don't hear it either.
You will.
Yeah, your mic's really good.
Oh no, don't worry about it. He'll come. He'll
Oh.
come on. You see, yeah, and there is an animation of the leaf blower that I have. I posted it on Twitter.
That was epic.
So good. So Diesel Time did it. So good. Anyway, so yeah, I think that Vader and the Inquisitors are going to be the main villains. It's 6 episodes, anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour episodes. We're getting the way that I said to look at this is essentially anywhere between a 4 to 6 hour film is what we're getting, because it was going to be a movie. It probably just went from being a 2-hour script to now a 5-hour script.
Yeah.
And I think, Emperor Palpatine, the Inquisitors, because remember in Rebels, they're going. Palpatine was in Rebels. Palpatine, the Inquisitors, they were all syncing up to this period in time, so it makes a lot of sense.
But there is no official confirmation of this. This is all speculation.
All speculation. I mean, I think that it's getting closer and closer to speculation and confirmation of the Inquisitor. You hear him? You hear him?
I hear the cars outside my house because I live on the street, basically.
Yeah.
I'll hear him. Here he's very excited about the Inquisitor as a leaf blower. He's made it very clear. He's upset that Jason Isaacs isn't in. He wants to make his point known, but I won't let him in the house.
He's asking. He hears you talking about it. He wants to know what you're proposing.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't have that ready for it, Mike. So sorry, I didn't have it ready. Anyway, so I think that Palpatine being back in this thing, it makes sense, and it drives.
I got the street cleaner coming. Here comes my street cleaner.
I can't hear that either. But look, it does drive me nuts, though. I've told you this many times over. I think we're all on the same page. A lot of it is anytime they bring in another character, you're making the universe smaller. Now, you can risk that if it's like, I'm so glad Solo wasn't in Boba Fett. Unnecessary to put him in Boba Fett, right? To just pop him in somewhere. That to me is unnecessary. Palpatine, the same way Luke made sense being in Mandalorian, makes sense. If the characters make sense, it's not making it smaller.
I think Palpatine more so than Luke makes sense.
Yes.
Those two are hand in hand, the two of them.
Yeah. And Vader
in that time period.
Vader is there 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, I mean, and he doesn't have to be in full scenes. He just if you just
hologram.
It's the hologram. Him talking to him, like, here is what you must do next. Like, it's fine, right, Steph?
Yeah, it would be completely fine. But I'm wondering, do you think it doesn't make the universe smaller to bring Palpatine in? I'm just going down the line of characters that Obi-Wan has had like focused relations with.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about? Is there a possibility that Maul comes, or do you think because of Rebels and everything that went down that they wouldn't, like, it would be too like retconny territory just because they have such a serious
they do, but so with Filoni involved as a producer, and there's no chance he's going to retcon his own stuff. There's no chance. And for people, well, how are they going to retcon it? Could he show up? I mean, sure, he could show up, but should he have any interaction with Obi-Wan? I don't think so, because in Rebels, he's determined to find out where Obi-Wan is. He doesn't know he's on Tatooine. He doesn't find out that he's on Tatooine until he ultimately goes there, and it's this poetic end to their feud in Rebels, which I thought is just so great the way that it's all set up. He's festering with anger. He's been working in the crime syndicate for so long. So if that aspect of it where they don't actually meet, okay. But with Vader and the Inquisitors and Palpatine, it's too much with Maul. I think it's too. You don't need Maul in this.
Was Satine cast or no? Not is that still?
Well, Satine was cast for Ahsoka. She would only she would only be like 8 years old or something in this, because remember Luke's 10, Leia's 10, so that's probably who you're going to see. You'll probably see Luke and Leia.
Did they cast a young Luke? Didn't they cast a young kid?
Yeah. The question that I'm very curious about, which the answer is probably going to be no, because I don't think it's necessary. Do they do a deep fake of Luke and Leia, or do they just cast young kids? I think that a deep fake for them.
Think to make like a look like a 10-year-old Mark Hamill?
Yeah, no. I think it's unnecessary. I think it's unnecessary.
You don't really look like you did when you were 10 years old.
I don't think it's necessary. Yeah,
that's a bit much.
They'll they probably casted based off like baby photo, like young kid photos of the actors.
Yeah. They would do that, I think, and same thing for Leia. Well, because the room,
just made them miniature.
right. Just a little, they just shrunk them down. It was really, eventually they'll be able to do that, but I don't think we're there yet. But Jimmy Smits also is rumored for this one. I think he's going to show up in both this and Andor, which
that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense, and that's why, again, this silly shrinking the universe. These are the characters that should exist. Now, the one thing that people could say is that, you know, why it's hinted that Organa and Bail and Obi-Wan hadn't spoken since Clone Wars. It's kind of hinted, but not really ever confirmed that that's the case. So you can get away with it.
Yeah.
If Bail Organa comes, right? Because he confirmed that. Isn't that accurate?
I think it's getting closer and closer. The only one they're keeping really close under the hood is Liam Neeson, right? Because they're making that one. That is probably the Luke Skywalker big reveal.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Is Liam Neeson? That's the one that they're really keeping under.
Liam Neeson's.
Yeah, I get that. There's no point for them to say it. They should, even though, because I believe it's going to happen. But the smaller universe argument doesn't really work for Obi-Wan series, and specifically just because that's a character that we have seen before. I would get that maybe like you could argue that maybe with Ahsoka, because we've only seen, like, until recently we only saw her in animated, but we're not making the universe smaller that's about the story that we already know.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I think that what we can pretty much lock down is that this is going to be the biggest production that they've done so far, rightfully so. With Ewan McGregor in there, Vader is back, Palpatine most likely back, Bail Organa, like all this stuff. This is like, really, if you look at it, the prequel that everyone kind of imagined when you were thinking about, you know, after the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Of like the things that went down, a young Vader, which we really have only really seen in Rebels, and that's even closer enough to the original trilogy Vader. We haven't seen that Vader of the hunting down of the Jedi and doing all that, and like not in live action, you know. So to get that Vader, that's something I don't think people are really grasping. And the idea of what they've done very well inside of flashbacks so far, and even the Boba Fett stuff, I liked a lot of the flashback stuff, and
me too.
Flashback stuff. I think it's pretty much a lock that you're going to get a flashback Anakin and Obi-Wan, and most people are thinking it's just going to be like a conversation stuff, you know, like it'll be like them just going back and having a conversation. But what if there's a scene with the two of them fighting in the Clone Wars together? How great would that be?
I think it's going to be a bigger bit. I think it might be a whole episode
of them in flashback, which would be fantastic. Why not? Right? Like, why not, Steph? What do you feel?
I would be so happy for that for so many reasons. I want Hayden Christensen to just really own this role. I would just die to be a fly in the room when they're like directing him. I want to know what kind of direction they're giving him for this Anakin or Vader that we're going to see. But I think that it wouldn't make sense that they announced Hayden coming back as like the first kind of major announcement of the show and it not be a massive part of the show. So I think if you're going to bring him back with Obi-Wan, when else are you going to be able to do like Clone War shots, or maybe with them talking about Padme? I don't know, but I think they can explore so much about their relationship. It'd be suck if it was only a little bit.
Well, it won't be a little bit. He's gonna be a massive character in the show. Yeah. But do you think because I know we just mentioned Liam Neeson being the big cameo. Do we get a Padme cameo? I say no.
I say no.
I think if it enhances the story, Natalie Portman looks the same. She would 100% come back, and it would be fine.
They'd probably de-age her a little bit.
A little bit, just like the rest of them. The whole cast looks.
You're gonna de-age everybody, but very, very briefly.
Yeah, but I think she might, because she's just such a big reason why he pulled to the dark side.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because they have a clip. Did you guys hear the clip of Deborah Chow had asked Anakin or Hayden a certain thing, and his response?
No, I did not hear this.
Well, and I got it home.
It's true. Like if you're going to come on board a project like this, you want to know
What is she
the
propose?
thoughts of the director, what they're going to propose.
What is she
Of
proposing?
course, it's not a stupid question at all.
Now we're talking about all these people that they're bringing back. They're bringing
The
potentially.
universe is getting smaller.
You know, they're potentially bringing back Palpatine. They're potentially bringing back Organa. They're bringing back Vader. They're potentially bringing back the Inquisitor. Potentially bringing back Luke and Leia. All these things, but who it seems like they're definitely bringing back.
Wait, hold on. Did they announce Gulp Shido?
No, but thank you for ruining my perfect transition into that. I
Oh.
appreciate it, ladies
What
and
I do.
gentlemen. They are bringing back the master himself, John Williams. I mean, that is why I say it goes into. This is where they're going into the big film aspect for Obi-Wan. I mean, John Williams hasn't done TV in a very long time, or if he does, it's maybe probably a Spielberg project or something too, but nothing along the lines of this. He hasn't done TV. And listen to this. So this is from the great Miguel Fernandez, who is a friend of the show and is probably watching this right now. Miguel does great work over at Star Wars Newsnet, as all of Star Wars Newsnet does. So please check that out. Miguel is one of their best writers. I think he's the best. All right. The Master is back 2.5 years after he gifted us with the score of. Hold on, I'm going to bring Kate Mulligan in on the show. Hold on. Hey, Kate, I'm on the air doing Sith Council. I know you're an expert in Star Wars. Anything you want to say?
I would like to say that K2SO is the greatest droid I found.
Oh, good. Would you like to say anything? Would you like to say anything to Steph Sabra, who's here?
Oh, you got my number. Don't forget to use it.
Okay. How about Mike Kalinowski?
Please don't ever call me.
Perfect. All right, I'll call you back.
That's it. That's what I get.
That's what
Wow.
great. Okay.
Just my
So-
rose red cheeks.
John Williams composed and conducted the recording of a new main theme for Obi-Wan Kenobi. While we thought he was done scoring Star Wars after the conclusion of the Skywalker saga, it looks like John Williams is doing what he already did for Solo, composing the main theme and overall tone of the score. For now, it is unknown who will be the main composer of the series. Okay, so he's just doing the theme, which is fine. But Variety is saying that the music is being recorded right now in London. Apparently, Williams recorded his music last week in Los Angeles. While according to Variety, this was done under strict security. Well, not too strict because it came out. The OneRing.net found out about it and discussed it in a recent edition of their live show. Furthermore, words started to go out on Reddit last week about Williams scoring a TV project, though it was unknown which project it was. Williams is now completing the roster of themes for original trilogy characters after he composed the theme for Solo and now the theme for Obi-Wan. This is only fitting as the theme he created for Obi-Wan back in 1977 was ultimately repurposed and is known as the Force theme, one of the most beautiful pieces of music he's ever created. In other words, the last time he tried to come up with a theme for Obi-Wan, he came up with the Force theme. So what does he come up with now? 90 years old, 5-time Oscar winner, is busy as ever. He's working on Obi-Wan, but he's also doing the Fablemans from Spielberg's semi-biographical story later this year. And of course, Lucasfilm's 5th Indiana Jones movie coming out next year. Okay, so that's pretty much what we need to talk about here. Let's get into
it. Let's dive into it.
All right, so we're getting into the fact that John Williams is indeed composing this thing, and he's coming up with the theme. He's not going to be doing the entire thing. It is not as beautiful as the Leaf Blower, of course, but it is close enough. This is a great move. It is also because the fact that this, I know everyone was waiting for May 4th for this to come out. I think May 25th is a perfect date. It's the 45th anniversary or whatever it was for New Hope.
Yeah,
it's kind of it's more than fitting that John Williams. Come
there
on,
he is. I hear him. I hear him now.
Hear him now.
Now I do.
You're excited. You're very excited.
Give him my number.
It's beautiful. So this is
Have you
this.
thrown out your number lately? What's going on here?
No, never.
This is a New Hope that you like the best. Oh no, but you do like Obi-Wan. Okay, thank you, Leaf Blower. That's the Leaf Blower.
How does he feel about Deborah Chow?
How do you feel about Deborah Chow? No, less excited because he doesn't know enough about her apparently. But
Hashtag stop Asian hate.
but she's mine. Look, she's one of the biggest sells for me with this.
Yeah.
Leaf Blower's an imbecile, so who cares? Anyway, so him doing this makes a lot of sense. Now, what I will say, and you guys should comment on both Williams in a second, but my proposal is what I'm proposing. I don't understand. I know that Ludwig is great, He did great work on Mandalorian. We don't need him to compose everything. And then we had the composer for Boba Fett, which I know Ludwig did a lot of the themes for it.
Yeah.
Why in the world are they not using Kevin Kiner? Come on, man. I mean, I get it. I understand that there's a little bit of this. How many leaves are there? It's California. There can't be that many leaves.
In fall.
There just can't be that many leaves.
No, we're in winter now. There should be no leaves.
It just can't be that many. I mean, at this point, you're just doing that thing I used to do when I pretended I was cleaning something, but I'm not really cleaning it. I'm just wiping it because I don't want to do anything else. I'm going over the same spot. That's what you're doing with the leaves. Let's be honest. Who are you texting at the moment?
It's not even fall. Where are the leaves coming from?
I don't even. Now he's doing it just to be a dick.
He probably hates his wife and doesn't want to be inside. So he's like, "Oh, I'm outside and blow the leaves."
It's not even his job. He works at the bagel store down the block. He just decides he just gonna blow leaves all over the place because that's what he wants to do, and he does it always in the middle of taping Star Wars. I mean, this is a legendary one today. This is his Mona Lisa.
This is really good.
It's Mona Lisa.
He's got going on today. Running down the stairs and eating.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just so. All right. Well, Kevin Kiner, I think, should be scoring this thing for sure.
You know, I got some thoughts on that.
Go ahead.
I have noticed that a lot of the times where a composer is known for scoring animated, that they don't transition to the live action. That they, for some reason, the powers that be don't. I don't want to say there's a bias there, but I've noticed that a lot, especially in like superhero animated stuff. They never let the people that do the animated films go up to do live action stuff.
True, but this is different. I agree with everything you said, but the difference is that a lot of those times, the producers and the executive producers are different.
Yeah,
from animation. This is Filoni.
People.
Filoni loves Kevin Kiner.
So then maybe there's a question there. Then hey, buddy, why aren't you bringing me up to the big leagues with you? I want to, but up top, not letting me.
Do you think because of Vader? Like, do you think just
or maybe he's too busy?
Yeah,
dude,
that.
Or if you get Williams,
that's what I mean. If you got Williams and too busy, it's like and Dave Filoni says, "Hey, Kevin, I want to use you on one of these series."
Yeah,
and you get to follow John Williams. I think Kevin Kiner's jumping on it. So the question is, I make a prediction here because Dave Filoni does seem to use the people that he feels very comfortable with, right? I believe Kevin Kiner will score either this one, less likely, but more likely that he'll score Ahsoka.
Oh, yeah. I could definitely see that. He's just spent so much time with the character.
And essentially this Ahsoka is going to essentially be live action Rebels. It's just a continuation of the story.
Does Ahsoka have a theme on
does.
Rebels? Does she have like her own that he created a theme for her?
Yeah, you hear it in Mandalorian.
Okay, then I think he'll do it. Yeah, he'll do it then.
I think that Kevin Kiner will
maybe Filoni was like, hey man, Obi-Wan, it's tied with Williams, but this is your baby. We're gonna this is you.
Yeah, I think Kiner will.
And he has Bad Batch season 2 coming too.
Yeah, and he's done, and he scored he scored the batch, right? Yeah. So I think Kevin Kiner will score live action. I just if I was gonna put a bet on it, I would say put the heavy bet on Ahsoka with a soft bet on Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But John Williams coming back, man, to do this theme, I can't wait. This is why, like, I'm telling you, I don't think I'm as hyped for Obi-Wan as I was for The Force Awakens. And I know a lot of people don't feel that way. Maybe not feel that way because it's so different because it's like the first big live action movie that we've got with the big three, even though they weren't on screen together. But it was the first movie for a long time. So that kind of hype, but there's just something about this series that just this will be Disney Plus's biggest series thus far, bigger than any Marvel series they did, bigger than anything. This will be the biggest one.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to be watching it. Because you can be any generation Star Wars fan to care about Obi-Wan as a character, and then like you don't even have to be really an Obi-Wan or a Star Wars fan to know like the premise, I feel like, of Obi-Wan's story. So I think it's going to be, I agree, I think it's going to be the biggest show.
Yeah, and for those people who aren't excited,
Apologies. Apologies.
Yeah. You think the Major Domo is going to show up in that series?
Of course.
Yeah.
Don't you say
They're
that?
going to de-age him too.
It'll
Don't
be a
do it.
baby.
Don't
Yeah.
do it.
telling you.
So yeah, so that's the big news with John Williams. That's the big news with the casting. The big news for us, well, I'm very excited to talk to you guys about, is NordVPN, everybody. This is a new sponsor, but it's an exciting sponsor, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Because the security of not only me and Mike and Steph and you guys, it's always very important to all of us, and it's through one of the main reasons, and I've been using NordVPN. It's fast and it's a secure service. It significantly boosts your online privacy and your security. So what NordVPN does, it encrypts my traffic on both the web and mobile, and you don't have to worry about unsecure websites or apps that you're using. It's pretty great for if you're running around, if you're on the road, and especially now if we're doing live events or in studio or doing studio shoots, it's refreshing because I'm not constantly worrying about who's doing what behind unsecured public Wi-Fi networks. If I have to email somebody, if I'm managing documents, or if I'm talking to people on social media, I know that my phone, I know that my laptop, it's all secure. That's what NordVPN does. It makes it very easy to switch my virtual location. You just do one click, and you can access things. You can streaming stuff that's available in different parts of the country, Netflix overseas, and you can go to nordvpn.com/bigthing. So make sure you head on over to nordvpn.com/bigthing. We're very excited to be working with Nord, and I don't know how much you know about them, but you can grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/bigthing and use that code BIGTHING. Get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan, plus 1 additional month for free and a bonus gift. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Use that code BIGTHING or use nordvpn.com/bigthing. Okay. Excited to be working with Nord. All right. Back to these peeps. And let's get to the next story, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a big one here. Mike, were you the Spider-Man No Way Home fan?
I enjoyed it.
Okay, you enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
how do you feel about the rumor about John Watts doing a
Star Wars
TV show? Yeah, they said
it's funny you say that because so far with all the Star Wars we've seen, and I say that with the live action shows on Disney Plus, everyone that has been exceeded my expectations, like had no idea, I wouldn't have thought of them as a director for TV.
Right.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Right.
People like Deborah Chow that I didn't know their work. Steph Green. Rick Fuyama. Am I saying that right? Fuyama?
Don't ask me. I'm as bad as JT with pronunciations.
Okay.
I own it.
But then the filmmakers that I thought were going to kick it out of the park, that I do have a history of knowing their work, I was like, oh, not really my favorites. So with him, the Spider-Man's films, I'm in the weird place. Like I think Far From Home is so much better than people give it credit. I don't like Homecoming, but that doesn't really go too much into the directing. It's a lot of the story and stuff. The choice is made. Right. So I don't know. He's able to handle the visual stuff really well, working with visual effects people. So we'll see.
Yeah. This is the report that we got going. This one's by IGN. Spider-Man director John Watts reportedly in talks to star in, to helm new Star Wars series. And this is the series, those stuff that we talked about last week. Remember that rumor about the High Republic? So the helmer John Watts is rumored to be in talks to direct one episode of a new mystery Star Wars series for Disney Plus. They're saying that already it's already been filming this series, and they've been keeping it that far of a wraps on it. So apparently operating under the working title of Grammar Rodeo. I guess that's a Simpson thing. Involvement in the project is said to be dependent on his schedule. He's also doing Fantastic Four. Favreau is also, let's see, what are they saying here?
Well, that was
they're saying that, Stranger Things in Space, with a story that focuses on a younger generation of heroes during the High Republic era. The Acolyte is another Disney Plus series, will be set during the final days of the same period in connection with the publishing initiative launched by Disney and Lucasfilm in 2020. Acolyte is in pre-production with the Russian doll writer Leslie Headland overseeing the series, and Amandla Stenberg eyed for the lead role. Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy previously teased a story saying it will take us into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emergent dark side powers 200 years before the events of the Star Wars prequels. I thought it was 50 years, but apparently 200 years. As the galaxy far, far away expands, the star-studded roster of talent working to tell these tales grow along with it. Watts could be the next high-profile name to secure a slot in the Star Wars project. Okay, so a lot to kind of take in there, but the first being, this is what I'm really enjoying about this TV. So, Mike, this is why I pushed back so hard against you when you talked about it on Twitter. When
you always push back against me, but that's neither here nor there.
No, but when it comes to the shared universe side of it, like, if you look at what they're doing with television as opposed to what they did with films, and of course, everything inside of the entire calendar is or catalog is all a shared universe, of course, but they're not. The movies, they weren't as, especially the new trilogy, weren't as present as trying to link it all together, make it all sense, and connect the way that, like, say, like the MCU does, or even hell, if you watch Peacemaker or anything like the way that DC is doing. So this TV series, when you look at, let's look what they did with Mandalorian. They set up all these different things that are going to be set up with bringing in Boba Fett, giving him his own series, bringing Ahsoka, getting him familiar, giving her own series. So that's connected and shared inside of that. Grogu working with Luke shows up in Boba Fett. All that's connected. Now what they are doing that I think is very smart is now they're setting up a different time period, and they started by doing it with these books and these comics and these novels. Like, this is the push that they made was very different than the other stuff because they wanted to introduce a time period that they were going to spend a lot of time in live action, because now you have two series. This one that they're talking about, this Stranger Things type thing, where I don't think you go, and Steph and I talked about this last week, you can definitely make one for the kids, but you also have to make sure that it ties in, because you're probably going to tie in one way or another to this Acolyte series, which is going to be geared more towards adults. So, Steph, do you think now that they're setting up this shared universe inside of the High Republic, it's a good move, especially with these rumors of like a John Watts coming in to direct one of them?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I'm not finished with I finished the first High Republic book. Okay. Light of the Jedi. I think that's which one is the first one.
Three of them, right?
Yeah, there's three of them. I really, really enjoyed it. And I was thinking while reading it that I would like them to explore this in a live action way. And I think it's smart to go kid adult, because then they can like see what's working and see if like this era is the era to move forward with for a little bit of the time being. And there's a lot to explore in this era that's different than what we've seen before with the Republic.
Mike?
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Like, I'm thinking, like, again, it everything that we've seen so far kind of seems within the same wheelhouse. Tone-wise and age-wise. Audience-wise, I should say. So if they're going to go a little younger, in live action, I mean,
Well, I think the smart thing that they did, and even inside of this, whether or not this is an official, obviously it's for whoever's getting the reports. Like they're being careful in saying it's Stranger Things in the Star Wars world as opposed to Goonies, and I love the Goonies.
That's a good point.
Because when you go,
I still watch Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because when you go to the Goonies, and again, I love the Goonies, but the Goonies,
who doesn't?
Well, there's people, maybe
John Roca.
People later on in life who caught the Goonies. It doesn't play the same way, right? But the Goonies to me, when that is going to, they'll be like, okay, so they're going to play a little bit more comedic, and it'll be not as serious. Stranger Things is, you still have those comedic moments, but it's serious, and there's some serious things happening inside of it. So if it's Stranger Things inside of it, would just happen to have kids as the lead, it becomes more intriguing for people, I think, overall. Because it's
good point.
So that's why I think it's smart to pitch it as a Stranger Things in the Star Wars world. And then once you get to Acolyte, but I do think what they need to do, similar to what Marvel is doing, especially if Moon Knight turns out to be this very kind of serious, darker thing, they should make sure that they're doing these lighter shows and even the Stranger Things inside of it, right? And then something, give me, like, if the dark side seems to be this is the most dark side heavy, this Acolyte show that it seems to be, because what it looks like, remember, the Sith are hiding in the shadows at this point. They don't make themselves, they don't show themselves to the Jedi until Phantom Menace. So they're hiding in the shadows since Darth Bane kind of set it up. And there are some Jedi who find out, but they don't live to tell the tale. At least that's what was set up in the Darth Bane novels, which are legends. But I think that consistently sticking that out is going to make a lot of sense. So if you start to see the final days of the High Republic, and part of that is because of this infestation of these two Sith. I love this idea of whoever what would be great and interesting is, and you know, they could do a lot of great things, but one of the things I think could be intriguing is what if they have whoever the lead, it looks like it's going to be shoot the name, I can't remember the name, whoever the lead is of the show, right? So they will probably be the lead, and then it'd be very interesting if Darth Plagueis winds up being the apprentice, and that's how
that's sick.
Right, if that's how the series.
Yeah, that could work.
But they have also not ever mentioned with Darth Plagueis in the book. The species is Mune. That's the book. The banking clan is Mune, and they go over this whole thing, but they've never confirmed that in canon of who he was or how he was.
Yeah,
I think Munes lived to be a lot older, and I think you go off that 11 of some species age differently than others, and then whether it's 200-300 years or whatever the hell it is, it will make sense to how he eventually is. It's a younger version of him by the time he gets to Palpatine. So I'm crossing my fingers for that Palpatine limited series, man.
Well,
You got a big thing for Palpatine, don't you, pal?
One of my favorite characters.
Okay.
The idea and the stuff that he's.
I always think he worked so much better when he was in the shadows.
When you, I think it's because I read that book.
Yeah, you reference that book a lot.
That book, dude, that book. I'm crossing my fingers, and it'll never happen that they do retcon, that they say like, okay, listen, we are going to actually say that this book by James Luceno, this is actually not Legends anymore. We're officially making this canon, because that is way more of a gangster story than Boba Fett ever wanted to be. Like it is. When I talked to the author James Luceno back in the Jedi Council days, and I asked him, I was like, when reading this seems like a full mobster, like gangster story. He's like, that's the intent. And
so it scratched the itch for you. That was your thing. It's in your wheelhouse.
But it was everything, because the Sith lore and everything and the way that they put it together.
I get it.
And it's the entire time is Plagueis trying to cheat death, and the understanding of it, and it ties into the Phantom Menace, and he's still alive during the period of Phantom Menace, and they go through the death scene of how Palpatine takes him out and betrays his trust and all of it. And it's fascinating. It's a great book, but you could definitely adapt that book into a 5-part series, and people I think would lose their minds. But you know, it just depends on it. But there's always that thing with Disney where it's like, is that a Disney Plus show? Right. Having the Emperor as the lead guy, and the answer is they probably would get scared at that. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because have they had a single villain series across any?
I think Acolyte is going to be it. I think Acolyte's
the first,
I think so.
Not even Marvel, like Loki's
Loki, but that's like
Loki's
not really.
No, they haven't had and because Moon Knight's not. I mean, I don't know enough about Moon Knight. He's not a villain. So it doesn't seem no one on the Marvel side. I mean, Peacemaker, when Peacemaker started on HBO Max, I mean, when you see the Suicide Squad, you think it's going to be about a villain, but it's not. It's not. So no, there hasn't been a villain series in any one of those properties yet. Well, no, I don't know how much. What about Doom Patrol? I don't know enough about Doom Patrol. And I guess Suicide Squad. What are we talking about? It's a Suicide Squad, but that's a movie. But TV.
But they're lovable villains too. Like we're talking.
Right. Like
what's the movie? Like the villains, they are the bad guys. They are the focus of it. It's funny when you talk about it, like directors and whatnot, or the studio, like, I don't know. How are we going to market this? How are we going to make T-shirts and toys?
But that's the thing with streaming now. Because
I know, man. You're
with movies. I understand that, because it's like we got to get people to pay. Like it's hard to run a full movie on a villain, because if we run a full movie on a villain, they don't buy the tickets. They're already subscribed to the service. They're already subscribed to the service. And you make a good one. Like if you made a Palpatine series or a Darth Bane series or a Plagueis series, and you've got the right, but with the difference though with that is sometimes you do have to probably lead with a big director or a big star in order to get people in there, because the hesitancy because it's children that aren't going to want to watch that. But like I said, if you have it, if it's set up I don't know, man.
Once they get going, they get a few more series under their belts. Yeah.
I hope. But speaking of which, and Mike's got to bail in a second, but I do. So this is again from Star Wars Newsnet. Speaking of all this stuff, we got this is from Star Wars Newsnet, and these are a look at all the titles that are coming out in 2022. These are all the Star Wars titles in 2022. So we'll go over that, and that'll be the last one. So obviously, what to expect in 2022. You guys can see this, right?
Look at that shot of him.
Okay.
Look at
So
that.
obviously Obi-Wan, and that's official art, by the way.
That's fantastic. Oh man,
it's really good.
Sick.
That's official art that I love. Obi-Wan Kenobi. What is the arguably most highly anticipated Star Wars release since The Force Awakens? That's what we just said. The 6-episode limited series Obi-Wan will take place 10 years after Revenge of Sith. Will include what Lucas film president Kathleen Kennedy says, the rematch of the century between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, May 25th. So we know that's the one. That's when everyone's going to lose their minds. Okay, so Andor, which already has a season 2. Andor will follow Cassian Andor's adventures. Fans will see more of Cassian's rebel spy days before he met his fate on Scarif. The first season is going to be 12 episodes and will be released late summer, early fall. So that's pretty interesting. And a second season already filming this fall, but 12 episodes. They're really banking on Andor, man. They really
are. They must see something they like.
So that's good news, though. That's good.
Yeah.
Mandalorian. Season 3 is began filming in 2021, following a similar pattern to previous seasons, and the series is expected to make its return late 2022. So now that Grogu is reunited with Din, only time will tell what the adventures are ahead for the two. Questions are still swirl around Bo-Katan and her obsession with the Darksaber, and what has come of Moff Gideon. The return to the first live-action Star Wars series will be highly anticipated as the year goes on. You got Bad Batch, which is going to be 2022. With the Bad Batch, Clone Force 99 is a unique brand of clones, each with their own quirky personalities and capabilities. They are the A-team of Star Wars. The continuing adventure of Omega, Crosshair, Wrecker, Hunter, Tech, and Echo are expected this spring. Will we get a glimpse into the Emperor's cloning operations now that CAMEO is no longer in business? Ahsoka, another special event limited series is Ahsoka, but this is 2023. Dave Filoni-led series will feature Rosario Dawson back as the title character. It's expected to arrive in 2023. Okay, I don't need the publishing side of it. Okay. So a lot there, obviously. I think this is why, once again, with television, with movies, when people were talking about 2 or 3 movies a year, like it's too much. It's too much. With TV,
yeah, it's perfect.
Man,
bring it.
Give me. Because
Give me all you got.
It's just
Give me all you got.
Give me all you got. There's so much. There's just so much of it, and because of all the time periods, and because they're connecting it all, it's getting more and more hyped. And I think that, Steph, when you have these that it's coming out, remember I think we accurately predicted when these things were coming out too. We said that Obi-Wan would be first in May, and then we said after that it would be Andor and Bad Batch, followed by the end of Mandalorian, and that Mandalorian will then take us into 2023.
Yeah. And then from there, you think that the rest of those series will come out in 2023. So the Ahsoka, Acolyte,
and this Stranger Things thing.
Yeah.
They're already filming.
And then probably you think that would be it? Three shows for 2023, or you will get probably another.
Well, officially we're gonna have 4 this year, right? Because you got or 5. Because Boba Fett was still going on. There's like 2 episodes in 2021, but the majority of it was 2022.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna get Obi-Wan, then you get Bad Batch, Andor, and Mandalorian. That's 5 this year, and then you include Mandalorian. Mandalorian will be number 1 next year, starting off the year, and then you're gonna get Acolyte, Stranger Things, Ahsoka, and then who knows if you're going to get Mandalorian? Would you get Mandalorian the new season or something else? But
or Bad Batch again,
or another or something. So 4 for sure next year, and then there's what they also remember that Celebration's right around the corner. And so for people asking, I have requested a panel for Sith Council at Star Wars Celebration. So hopefully Mike, myself, and Steph will be there. I haven't been approved for it yet, but they haven't approved anybody yet. So once we find out, we'll let you guys know. The goal is that we're going to do 2 Schmoedowns and then 1 Sith Council. So we'll let you guys know as we get closer and closer. But that's it. And speaking of Schmoedown, Mike's going to be, we announced this yesterday, Mike's going to be playing Kevin
Yeah.
Smets in a Batman exhibition match that will be live to everyone on the Schmoedown channel, and that comes out Monday at 9 a.m.
I want to miss it.
on the YouTube channel. It's
So
gonna be
fun.
a really fun match, and you're going to see a fun side of both Mike Kalinowski and Smets in that match. And it's an exhibition match, but it's a blast to watch these two guys go at it. And it's Monday on the Schmoedown channel, so make sure you go there. And that also couples the fact that we're this season. Like Mike, you were on set, and without spoiling anything, and Steph, you were too. So, and honestly, even if I wasn't in the room, how different did this feel of Schmoedown than in previous?
It's a different vibe. It's always it's just the set was awesome. You've got it doesn't compare. It brings out not just the production quality in the competitors. It brings out more. It just I mean, I know there's competitors that probably like playing digitally, but the people have grown to love with the Schmoedown. You grew to love them because they love that. It hypes us up. It gets us going. You play better. Your competitors, they just feel the energy of a match. There's nothing beats it. Nothing beats it.
And the set is incredible, but it just you forget because we were digital. Everyone had to go digital in the world, but that it's such a legitimate show. And it's only right that it has an entire set for it.
I told Shane after we left, I was like, did you see how many people were involved behind the scenes in this? It's like insane.
Full show.
Full show now. We're making it, and it'll be more clear on February 26th when we have the pay-per-view between Smets and Chandru, and then undercard is the Wildberries and Video Drew and Claudia Dolph. But it'll be more clear as far as why I say we're going to be making a much more polished show, and you'll find out in a moment. But anyway, Mike, get the hell out of here.
I got a dip.
Go. So
I love you guys.
Yes, we'll
Steph,
talk.
you look beautiful as always. You look beautiful anyway.
Thank you. If I can pull off looking like this, then
you look great, kid.
Listen.
Hey, and you, hey, nuts. Show a little class.
Get out of here, man. Shit.
Get out of here.
Yeah, this is for Mike.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit.
Let's see if there's anything else that we can talk about before we go, because we're not too far away. I mean, look, we're gonna have a lot of these types of shows leading up to Obi-Wan, but the Obi-Wan news is coming in kind of fast, and we know that. And there, like I said earlier in this, there is a report plot wise of the rumor, and I saw for like a split second, and I'm like, no thanks, I don't want to know. So, and I don't want to cover it. If you want to go, Star Wars Newsnet has a spoiler, and they're very good about it. They say if you want to read, then keep reading along. But I don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't really want to know either. I barely want to watch the trailer, but of course I'm going to because I think we have to. But I don't want to really. I want it to be like a surprise.
Yeah,
as much as I can.
I know. There is. I mean, you're going to watch it no matter what. But obviously, for the show and other things, we definitely want to watch the Obi-Wan trailer, and it'll be. I mean, you think we thought we were going to Super Bowl. Who knows?
I know. I thought it was gonna it has to be in the next few weeks.
You would assume, but some people don't think it's going to drop until like Moon Knight is almost over. And it's like, but that's if Moon Knight debuts in March and then it'll be over by May 4th, and you're only going to have a trailer like 3 weeks before the show comes out. I mean, I hope it drops soon. I guess
they don't really need a trailer. Everyone's already
have one, I mean, but that they have enough footage that they could put one out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But either way, there was a lot to talk about today. I was excited about it. I would think that there's so much that we got a chance to talk about with John Williams and this casting and all of it.
Yeah.
So until next week, Steph, what else you got going on? What's going on with the World Girls?
We're dropping our episode when we went to Disneyland. I went to Galaxy's Edge for the first time. I got my own.
Show up. You can't bring it up. I get in trouble every time. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, so that's dropping at 6 p.m. tonight. So go check it out. And then other than that, I'll be icing my face.
Oh, yes, please do that. I should get in touch with that old lady.
I should get street cred for just always showing up.
Yeah, embracing yourself too. So the fact that you need to do is you just need to have someone following you around with a camera from now on.
Oh my God, I know.
I never put that together. You really are Frenchie, aren't you?
Yeah, yes.
You really are. I mean, with the World Girls and everything too. Is that why you love her so much?
Frenchie, I'm Rose. I'm like the klutz of the group.
I can see it. I can see it. All right. The great Steph Sabra, ladies and gentlemen. And make sure that you guys, if you haven't already, show a little class. Will you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button? As always, leave your comments. And then, yeah, once again, guys, I'm going to put the iCard in here. Click on the movie trivia Schmoedown, even if you've never seen it before, or even if you used to watch it. This season is way different than any season we've ever done. It is definitely the most entertaining. I'm the most excited for this season than I've ever been in the past, because this is exactly what I wanted to do when I was able to bring it to Skybound in the first place. And now this is the show that we were able to do that I thought we were going to do 2 years ago, but because of circumstances we couldn't do. But this is the show. So I hope you check it out. I hope you want to give us a shot. And the link for the Schmoedown is in the description of this video. But for Steph Sabra and for me, and Mike Kalinowski, we will see you guys next week on Sith Council. Peace.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.